Thina, could you discuss the challenges encountered in coordinating planning efforts within special economic zones and rural economic development zones, specifically focusing on the difficulties in implementation and current coordination issues in the Boegoebaai SEZ?
So in South Africa, when it comes to economic development, there are policy tools such as the special economic zones that are used, to guide, economic activities or enhance economic activities and planning that can attract international investments, which could potentially, contribute towards the growth of the economy of the country. So in this region of Namakwa, there is a special economic zone policy framework that has been developed, but it has been developed for the mining sector, for the zinc mining that is going to take place in Aggeneys. And also there are prospects of revitalizing the copper industry because of new technologies that have been developed that can actually contribute towards more economic activities in extracting copper, because copper was decommissioned many years ago because obviously technologies were not yet developed where, you can actually still find in the tailings and even dig deeper to get more copper. So now there are prospects to do that, and they fall under the SEZs. But then what has happened is that with the green hydrogen development, it now falls under the renewable energy development zone. And now, since they have a roadmap for green hydrogen development, it actually has been placed under the green hydrogen development zone. So you have SEZs, REDZ, and GHDZs. So it's quite a number of these policy frameworks. But then one thing that we have noticed over the years, starting from the SEZs, because in South Africa, we do have various SEZs in KZN, in the Richards Bay Port, the Dube Port, in the Eastern Cape as well. We find those in the Kruger ports as well. So there are quite a number of them. But then in Africa, we found that, including South Africa, that some of these SEZs have really performed very poorly in terms of the foreign direct investments that they're supposed to attract, and also making sure that there is sustainable employment for revenue generation, and also making sure that municipalities derive some benefits out of these. So one of the critical factors that also contribute to the poor performance of SEZs is that there's a lack of agency coordination, especially when you look at the mismatch between the SEZs sectoral focused and the host country's comparative advantage. And there's also this lack of provision of adequate infrastructure, poor environmental and social and governance performance, and also the lack of coordination when it comes to high political support, and also these unclear business strategies, because remember, SEZs, they fall into a geographic location is within a demarcation of a municipality. This requires a municipality to make adaptations in their local economic development policies that will integrate this development that needs to take place. So those are one of the challenges that SEZs have faced in South Africa, and therefore it begs the question in terms of how will then the renewable energy development zones and the green hydrogen development zones, progressively make, the required change that is needed for a geographic municipality such as Namakwa to become more economically viable and sustainable.